What's up, my dudes? Um, so I'm gonna go to a casino over here in Louisiana here pretty soon and play some Baccarat. And I wanted to just kind of show you guys how Baccarat works. And I keep talking to you about this Martingale system and how you can game the system to, it's not 100% guaranteed to win money, but you have a 98% chance to win money. Um, and profit, you know, pretty easily. So basically, in Baccarat, you had the player, you have the banker, and you have a tie. So honestly, I don't really know, what the cards mean that much. I just know that the player and the banker have almost a 50-50 chance to win. Um, and there's also a chance that the cards could tie. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through this, and I'm going to show you how quickly I can get to $100 using $5 bets and how this system works. So the way that the Martingale system works is you double your bet every time you lose your bet, so that whenever you win, you profit, whatever your initial bet was. So in this case, since you know most everybody that's watching this kind of small timers, a lot of extra money. So $5 tables, $5 bets, pretty reasonable. So the way that you want to do this is you want to place your bet on the banker and the player, so that no matter what happens, you will win, or you'll break even, or close to break even. If the player wins, you do break even. If the banker wins, you lose just a little bit, like 1%. So the reason why you want to bet on both is because we actually modify this Martingale system by, having the banker or the player win 2 times in a row before we start placing real bets. So we're going to go ahead and deal these cards. Okay. Again, the player has 3 and the banker has 7. I've read the rules. It's been a while, so I'm not exactly sure what the numbers mean, but it doesn't even really matter. The whole thing you need to worry about is whether the player or the banker wins. So here we're going to play, and so we just saw that the banker won, right? Okay, so we're going to place another $5 bet on each one, and if the banker wins again, then we're going to place a bet on the player. All right, so the banker has won 2 times in a row. So the probability of the banker to win 3 times in a row gets increasingly smaller. I mean, technically it's still 50-50, but the odds of a player, winning increase. So you can place a $5 bet on the player, but I'm going to place a $10 bet on the player to try to speed this up a little bit. So now the banker won. So now what we have to do is we need to double our bet on the player. So last time we bet $10. Now we're betting $20 on the player. And the player won. Cool. So I have now made $9.50 in a couple of minutes. And you'll be able to see just how quickly you can rack up money here. So the banker won that one. So we're looking for another banker win here. All right, so the banker won 2 times in a row again. So now I'm going to put $10 on the player. And the player won. So in just a couple minutes, I've won $19. So for most of you, that's like an hour of working at a restaurant, or working at Lone Star, or working, wherever it is that you're working. You've made that money in just a few minutes playing Baccarat. And so and this is kind of how that system works, you know. So now the player won, so we're looking for the player to win again. And so basically, every time that you win your bet, you just start over, right? So now the banker won, right? So we're going to place the two bets here, and what we're looking for again is for either the banker or the player to win 2 times in a row. Okay, so in that case, that was a tie, right? So they both had 7. And whenever that happens, you just start over. It's pretty simple. So the player wins. We're looking for the player to win again. The banker won. All right, so now we're looking for the banker to win this one. All right, the player won. So now we're looking for the player to win. And sometimes you can just kind of sit here and durdle around for a minute. But now that the player has won 2 in a row, now we're making our bet on the banker. Now we're going to double our bet on the banker because the player just won. Player won again. Okay, so we're going to double down again. So now we're up to 40 bucks. And the banker won. So now we're up to 26 bucks. Pretty awesome. And I mean, if I'm not sitting here explaining this to you guys, I can win $100 in about 10 minutes doing this. And like I said, it doesn't. You don't even really need to understand what the cards are doing. You just need to understand who's winning. And so the player won that last one. Now we're looking for the banker to win this one. I'm sorry, for the player to win. So now we're looking for the banker to win this one. All right, now we're looking for the player to win. Come on. And sometimes this can just happen, you know, as part of it. All right, so the banker won twice. Now we're going to put 10 bucks on the player, and the player wins. And now we're up to $35. So we're going to make this a little bit more exciting. So what I would normally do is put, you know, the minimum bet on the banker and the player, because what this says is it minimizes the fees if the banker wins. All right, so we just need the banker to win one more time here. All right, so the player won twice. So now we're going to put 25 bucks on the banker. And now we're going to double down, put 50 on the banker. And the banker wins. And now we're up to $57, just like that. And as long as you abide by this system, you have a very high probability of profiting in your trips to the casino. And, you know, this does not require a huge bankroll. If you're playing, you know, $5, you probably need, you know, a few $100s to be able to support, you know, a long run of like the banker or the player winning. And that's why we let, you know, that's why we're looking for the banker or the player, you know, to win 2 times in a row, because it reduces the chances of you losing out to a really long run of the banker or the player winning. You know, so with a $300 bankroll, I think that you could support a run of 8 or a total run of 10, you know, banker or player wins in a row. All right, so we're going to double down on the banker here. And the banker wins, and we're getting closer to that $100 mark. And literally, this is how easy it is to game the Baccarat system. Um, I know that I showed you guys how to do it on the roulette wheel, and the same applies, but the benefit of the Baccarat table is that it has a higher betting limit, so it allows you to bankroll really long runs if you're able to support it. All right, so the player won twice. So once the banker wins here, then we'll be at $100. So that was a tie. So we're just gonna keep it at 25 on the banker. And the banker wins $101, just like that. So that's basically how you game the Baccarat system. Um, I don't do it online because it's illegal to do it, but if playing casinos online was legal, then that's probably all I would do and be able to make a living off of it. Um, the other thing is, whenever we do go to these casinos, I can kind of, just walk you guys through it again. Um, but this is a modified Martingale system, and that's basically how it works. So hopefully you guys will want to come to a casino with me and win some money.